Hello, I'm Cole Spivey, and welcome to the Please Subscribe show. There's my cat, Edmund. His name is Edmund Tuxedo Cassavetes, and he gave me a very good idea. Because I'm in the middle of my floor work. I told you I was going to share things with you about the floor work, which I do here on the floor. Meaning, I'm about to go on a hike for about 2 hours, light jogging and hiking kind of thing. But for right now, we're stretching. So my cat did something. Kitty, you want to show him what you did? I'm going to show you in just a minute. Kitty, do you want to show? He's kind of shy. He's a good film cat, but I'll kind of give you an idea of what he did. So when I was stretching like this, I noticed he was clawing like this. So when we're doing kind of like child pose kind of thing like this, okay, we want to reach out just a little bit with the hands, just like a cat. That's going to stretch a little bit more on your lumbar region in the back, right here, okay? Our goal is by the end of summer to be as close to 170 as we can get, or by October or December. So we're doing these kinds of things. Now, what I was doing before that happened was I was doing a thing called leg lifts here. So when we're down here, I was doing these. And then I heard him scratching. So I do like a total of anywhere between 20, sometimes 30. This is gonna be my third set. So we'll be going on 30 right here in the second, our third rep. Right, so we're just lifting the legs, bringing it down and lifting the legs and doing that over and over again, okay? So thanks for joining me. I just, I know you guys do the child pose and stuff like that to stretch the back. It's a yoga move. But when the cat did that, I thought, well, why don't I add something to it, something new? So that's what I'm talking about. So what we're gonna do is get into the child pose down here like this. It looks this way from the side, like that. And we're just gonna stretch out like this. Just little stretches, nothing big. Don't do anything extinguish. Extend it. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to use the English language into yoga at the same time. Don't do anything too far. I try to use a big English word and got into some trouble right there, but don't extend it too far. Meaning, don't reach too far out here or you could hurt something here. But get into the pose here and just little moves like that. And that'll help this back because when you're in a when you're doing stuff, this lumbar region is important to keep stretched, to keep it stretched out there. Because if you lose that back there, if you hurt this or tear that, the game's over. You know what I mean? So I just did light ones, nothing major. Don't extend it too far because then you can tear it or rip it. And it's already sore right now because I was on the pack. I gotta do a little bit of weightlifting stuff and then we're gonna head off on the hike for a couple hours. And I'll tell you my time and everything. Now today, I'm sorry, I apologize. Today's Sunday. I said Saturday we would check on steps. We're gonna check on steps on Sunday. And we're gonna do our weigh-in, our second weigh-in tomorrow, which is on Monday. So I'm gonna tell you, I cheated a little bit on my diet. The other day I had a dropped order at a Whataburger. There was 2 Just burgers. I did not report it. They're small burgers and a breakfast burrito. Now, I read this in Men's Health, that when you're on a strict diet, if you mess up, don't worry about it. Continue your workout, continue your regular diet, and just go on. So if you have that extra cheesecake or if you have that extra hamburger that you're not supposed to have during your diet, don't panic. Don't be like, forget it, I can't do this. I'm gonna go back to the library and read for 4 hours or go back to the office and whatever. Whatever your office is or whatever it may be. I'm gonna go back to my high-rise office in New York City and do Wall Street figures for 4.5 hours and make another $1 million or whatever it is that you do. Don't worry, try to fit in that hour or 2 hour routine. I'm teaching you that you're gonna have to have like a 2 hour routine in your life. Now some can have 30 minutes is fine, but no less than 30 minutes, okay? 30 minutes to 2 hours. If you wanna go beyond that, hallelujah. All right, and we'll see you in 2 hours. Okay, so I'm not real picky about what type of weight routine you do. You can use curl bars if you want to do kind of message. If you want to do bench press, whatever it is that you do, some type of weight. It can be 15 minutes of weight work. It can be up to an hour, even longer if you're Hercules or Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatever. I try no more than maybe 30 minutes of floor work is what I call it. I call all that stuff. It's stretching and it's resistance work, okay? I do have a resistance band. We're gonna bring that in a little later. It's a little more complex. One thing I stress for all you guys that are weightlifting, let's work on stretching. I've seen guys that are big, and they're Arnold Schwarzenegger. They do have a little bit of problems in the dance room. So look at what mimes do and do these types of stretches to help elongate the muscle and to make the muscle more powerful. I'm gonna show you something Linda taught me, and this was when we were doing some photography. She taught me this. All right, now, what you wanna do is bring the hands out as if you're giving yourself fully. You know, almost like think a sacrificial kind of thing. And then lift the head back, bringing the chest upward and back this way. And then back again. These are small little stretches. I'm gonna show you from the side. Just like you're giving yourself up, just like that. And you're gonna feel a little bit of a stretch back here, okay? So we're just doing a little bit of a stretch there. Now this helped me after the time the guy assaulted me / citizen's arrest, okay? After whatever, we got the people that believe it was citizen's arrest, other believe it was an assault because of the priorities not being straight and the protocol being off. But you want to bring the hands out and just slightly stretch backwards this way. Really grow out and big right there. So you're just bringing it back that way, okay? It takes some work. Do about 3, 4, 5 of those. You're getting the arms out and going back like that as much as you can, okay? Going on my 2-hour hike, I'm gonna see what message came up. All right. Two hours, 5 minutes, 57 seconds, 7 mile, about 100 degrees weather. So I jogged and ran a little bit of it, 7 miles, and that's 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 57 seconds, 23rd of a second. Right here. When you do that, you want to make sure you get water. I carry a pack. I carry what's known as a water pack. So you want to make sure you get plenty of water. All right, kitty. You have the scratching post. You have your cat condo. And don't forget your whale shark tunnel. We're gonna go drop food at your doorstep. No salad today. Tomorrow we do our weight in. So we're hoping for a progression, as in a drop of weight. We'll have to see tomorrow. All right, it's 179,226 miles on the speedometer, 102 degrees Fahrenheit. It's June 11th, 2023. And welcome to the Please Subscribe Show. In some parts of Texas, it's 99 degrees. My car, it's reading 102 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a hot day. We did go on a hike, so we are continuing the exercise plan. Tomorrow is our big weigh-in day. So we'll be accountable for our weight weekly throughout this whole struggle, coming all the way through summer. And hopefully by the end of summer, I'm hoping to be at least 177 pounds. If I get there, it's okay. We can still work. If it happens in October, then that's fine. I'll be happy as long as I reach it by December. Plans for the future. Now, like I said, welcome to the Please Subscribe show. If you know anything about the show, the command part of the show is to subscribe. So it's in the title. It gives you something to do. The Please Subscribe show. I've come across a lot of people. We're not going to Central Market today. We're going to hold off on the big salad, but we're going to just basically keep track of the calorie count as we go. I'm going to stop and get a refill or a refresher. We're doing halfway decent on gas. I'm going to get a little bit of gas, not a whole lot. I also ration my gasoline as well. So once we get the snacks and stuff, we'll show you everything. I've decided on any dropped orders, I'm going to throw them out. That way I don't get the extra calories that I need. It's very, very important that I lose this weight and I become more profitable in Hollywood. I got a little bit of Coke Zero. That's what this is. Inside 7-Eleven. I've got these puffies things right here. And I'm just getting the soda and some gas. I haven't put down any calorie count. I did have some beef jerky earlier before I left. So I'm gonna do that. Hi. So you guys don't have Scan and Go yet? I thought y'all had Scan and Go. I'm not using it. Y'all don't have it yet?
Not yet. We're getting it.
You're gonna get it?
System, so I don't know.
Okay. You don't have it. Some people have it, some people don't. For some reason my ledger is black and weird. Rio Mamba is still on the way. 1.2, 4 minutes. We'll be there 5:29 p.m. All right. Finally arrived. 450 feet. I got 2 lions. Not just one lion, but there's more than one lion. Anyway, it's somewhere around here. Right, we're headed to Jason's Deli to pick up your food. We'll drop it off soon, but first we have to pick it up. So it's 1.7 miles, 6 minutes. We'll be there at 5:51 p.m. to pick up your Jason's Deli. All right, I was just informed by the customer to pick up 3 extra pickles at Jason's Deli. So we're still going there to pick it up. I'll try to get those pickles for you. I think they ordered, I don't know, some type of meal. We'll find out, probably sandwich and soup. All right, we're gonna drop off your Jason's Deli in 2 miles, 7 minutes, 6:12 in the PM. Next order, later on, we're going to pick up some other food at a place called Benito's. Right now, we're going to drop this one off. This is the Jason's Deli drop. All right, we're headed to Benito's to pick up your Mexican food. It's going to be 7.5 miles. We'll be there in 17 minutes, 6:37. Looks like they got some guacamole and a couple other authentic, well, it's authentic Mexican dishes, Latino dishes. I love the Lord and I love the church and I love God's people, but I don't think it's me, you know. I think I'm lost in the movies, you know. That's where I feel I am. That's where my identity is. I don't understand losing your identity for something like Christ, for an example. I always told my name was Cole Spivey. I love storytelling. I love the movies. I love making music. I love poetry and I love writing. I like getting lost in those kinds of things. I can sit there and listen to the sermon over and over and over again about St. Paul and him getting his head chopped off and him being the chief of sinners and all this stuff and spilt offerings and crucifixions all day long, but it gets boring. It gets stale, and I get sick of it. I don't think the pastor should be up there. I think he should be out working, doing something helpful for people. It's not that helpful to sit in the stew and just sit there and weep. You know, we understand. I get the point. You baptize me, move on. I'm going to make movies. That's going to be my kind of church thing. I'll find friendship in actors and musicians and artists. Those are the things that I want to do. God has put that in my heart. That's my desire. And I'll find my love there. That's where my love will be. And since it's still around, then you can't necessarily take it away from me if it's still around, because it'll always be a possibility. Look at those clouds. I love making movies. Monarchs. There's Magnolia. Oh, right. It just now hit me. Yeah, we're going to Benito's. Boy, this has changed, though. If you saw Fort Worth in the 90s when I was growing up, and now you see Fort Worth in 2023, it's like New York City or something. I mean, look at this. All these massive buildings and skyscraper apartments. You know, downtown they have skyscraper apartments, more than one, too. These little offshoot suburban neighborhoods were here in the 90s. When I grew up here in the 90s. We're talking early 90s. We protested against the Afghan war, or Desert Storm. It was Iraq. It was Iraq war, but there was probably stuff going on in the Afghan. We protested the Iraq war, Desert Storm and Desert Shield. We protested against it. It was a candle vigilant. There was this big old, looked like skinhead kind of guy at the top of Water Gardens with a big old POW, black and white POW with the guy on it. You know, the sign, it's like basically a flag. And he's waving the flag. And we're just like, this is so annoying. He's at the top. The news were there too. The media. There's Benito's. We were just like, you know, we're just doing a candlelight. And all we were saying was give peace a chance. That's all we were saying in the candlelight vigil. There's a lot of punks there. We just wanted to see if peace would work, you know. And look what ended up happening. After 40 years, you know. Really, it was 20 years, but it had been going on 20 years before we protested. And now 20 years has passed, and we finally get what we wanted. At least for now. And then they start bringing the war to the people, you know, to their own citizens. Then we'll protest against that too. Is that a beagle? I used to have one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's beagle. She's just a big girl.
Yeah, it's a beagle. Benito's. Restaurante. Comida Casera. This is actually authentic. This is where we would go after we do our plays at Sage and Silo when we worked there before they tore it down. But this is where we would go. We get a table right here or back in the corner where we get margaritas. Oh, hi. All right, cool. There we go. All right, looks like we got an Amber Alert. Now, it's what they ordered is known as ceviche, is what she said. But it's fish. So it's authentic Mexican fish. Ceviche. Then they got guacamole too, and I don't know, some other stuff. Fairmont too. This is kind of also the street that the area that I lived in was right here. Just like James Dean. Pretty much the same. I was a James Dean fan too. Right there. I lived down that way off of Willing Avenue. Fairmont was something I always thought about because James Dean lived in a town called Fairmont. Kind of the Illinois area. I know I said a thing about James Dean, but it was actually Marion, Indiana that he was from. That's where he was born. But he did live in Fairmont, Indiana. So I said Illinois area, but Indiana is not too far from Illinois, the state of Illinois. It's not too far from that area. But James Dean lived in Indiana. And he was raised in an area called Fairmont, Indiana. James Byron Dean was born in 1931. James Byron Dean, the movie star, James Dean, was born on February 8th of 1931 in Marion, Indiana. And he was raised in Fairmont, Indiana. He died in California from a car accident. A college kid pulled right in front of him, made a left-hand turn, which is an illegal left-hand turn. He smashed right into their vehicle. His last words were the following: "They'll see us." His foot was smashed into the brake pedal. His neck was broken, and I think the ribs were cracked so bad that he would not even really be able to breathe. He had internal injuries, and some say he died pretty much at the accident. His friend, who was a mechanic, and they were in a vehicle that was a Porsche, and it was known as the Little Bastard. We'll give you all the details on the type of vehicle he was in. But it was a 1950-ish style race car known as a Speedster. I had one that was a 1973 Porsche known as a Roadster. His was called a Speedster. Please correct me if you want to make a comment. Now, that car was totaled on the site. And I'm going to give you the area he died in. San Luis Obispo County. San Luis Obispo County. That's where James Dean died, in that county. It's spelled C-H-O-L-A-M-E. C-H-O-L-A-M-E. That was the city's name that he died. And he died because a college kid pulled right in front of him. And it killed him, and his partner lived. They went to a nearby military hospital. Two roads that connect in California, Route 46 and Route 41. They will collide together, allowing a car at that time when he died to make a left-hand turn. James Dean and his mechanic friend, boom, crashed right into the college kid's car. So this intersection, Route 46 and 41, is known as James Dean Memorial Junction. And that's where he hit the young college kid when the college kid made a left-hand turn right in front of him. And he said, "They'll see us." Then he smashed into the car, breaking his foot, breaking his ribs, breaking his neck. Whatever his injury led to, he could no longer breathe. And he died there before the ambulance could save him. The mechanic friend was rushed to a nearby, I think it's like a memorial hospital or something. It was like a military hospital, I heard. The rumors are Dean stopped at a nearby gas station and got an apple. He only ate an apple. That was his last meal. He was pulled over by a state highway trooper. How do they say it? It's like a state trooper. Anyway, it was a police officer that pulled him over and issued him a ticket. I think 30 minutes later, he was at the intersection of Route 41 and Route 46, slamming right into this vehicle, which was this college kid that turned to the left. He did it illegally, and everyone hated him. He was kind of like the enemy of the people for a while. This happened in 1955. September 30th was James Dean's death. He was rushed to a Memorial War Hospital. So it was known as Paso Robles War Memorial Hospital. There was a nurse on site that tried to treat James Dean, and supposedly the rumor is there was a slight pulse. So he was still somewhat alive as the ambulance moved, or, as the paramedics moved him into the ambulance. But that was pretty much after that movement, he was no longer alive. So he did not make it alive to the hospital. He died at the accident. But there was a nurse there that treated him the best that she could, trying to get a pulse, and said that there was a slight one. So he was barely living. But he did not make it to the ambulance alive. The mechanic guy, we're going to do a whole thing on him. He was there next to him and did survive and did make it into the ambulance, but we don't know the results of his injury at the hospital. So that September 30th of 1955, right there at the intersection of 46 and 41, now known as James Dean Memorial Junction, the people that were involved was James Dean, who hit Donald Turnipseed, who was making a left-hand turn, an illegal left-hand turn in front of him. He told Wutherick, his mechanic, that they'll see us, and whammo. He hit Donald Turnipseed. His foot went into the brake, breaking his foot, breaking his neck, and creating so much damage on his rib cage that he could no longer breathe. A nurse came to the site, gave medical attention to James Dean, went for a pulse, and realized it was barely beating. He barely had a heartbeat. The ambulance came, removed Warwick off the road, because Waltherick was flown from the car. Waltherick flew out of the car and landed on the side of the road. So he was thrown clear, and they picked him up off the road, and he was alive. Donald Turnipseed got out of his vehicle unharmed. and then later became the enemy of the people. People did not like him. Fans of James Dean did not like Donald Turnipseed for the rest of his life. He was known to be a man that made an illegal left-hand turn, killing James Dean instantly. His name was Donald Turnipseed. That was the student that was driving a vehicle. He was barely of age, really, and he was turning to the left. Boom, killing James Dean. Wutherick was his mechanic, and he was thrown free. James Dean died in the car from various injuries. We're looking like we're gonna have some weather. We'll get to all the specifics of James Dean Memorial Junction. Whether we get there or not is up to God. There's just a lot of hail coming down right now, and this is covering right here. Yeah. H-A-I-L. It's coming off, it's shooting off that way. The way the angling is there is different than the other one. That was like baseball size right there. It usually comes down in like spurts, so it comes and goes. All right, we're headed to drop off your Velvet Taco, 6.9 miles, 16 minutes. We'll be there 8:48 in the PM. It was raining, but it calmed down. I had a doorbell that looked exactly like this.